Good to go? Okay. Well, once again, we'll get started. And Joy Stutzman is a very strong person. She has to be. She fights an extreme battle. How big is your organization? 10, 12, bigger? 10? Great. Well, most of them are all volunteers too. Yep. So the reality of it is, this is the better part of the program because it illustrates what we need to give serious thought to. I won't say anything more than that except introduce Joy Stutzman, and she can go on with her presentation, and feel free to answer or ask her any questions you like. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for giving up a Saturday afternoon and when you could be cozy at home and by the fire, but there was a lovely fire over there. That felt really good. But it is a privilege to be here and share with you this afternoon, and I do want to thank you for giving me the opportunity. And there was something that John said at the very last thing he said before we went out, and the only part of it that I wrote down and remember is he said, "Find your role." And do you remember what else you said? That was the gist of it. Find your role, and that's so important because we do have different roles. I'm not going to be the one to be studying the laws like some of these other speakers were, but we all know the law doesn't change the heart, and only Jesus can change the heart. And so that is where we focus, that is where our role is at Life's Choices. And I'm excited to share with you. I'm going to share a little bit about who we are and what we do. I have some video testimonies to show you that you can hear directly from the people who've experienced our services and put some faces to stories. I'm going to give you an update on some big things that have happened at Life's Choices over the past year. I'm going to tell you how you can be involved if you feel like you have a role with this ministry. And I'm hopefully going to leave you with some words of encouragement from Scripture. So that's where we're headed. But before we start, I just have to, I can't let this opportunity pass without telling you that today is a significant day for me because 37 years ago, on January 20th, I was 8.5 months pregnant with my first baby. And I was working at the Hamburg Savings and Loan. Does anybody remember the Hamburg Savings and Loan on Main Street? I had 2.5 weeks before my due date, and so I had one more day of work left, and then I was going to take the last 2 weeks to really get ready for my new baby. I was going to, hang the curtains in the nursery. I was going to wash the cloth diapers and the little green and yellow sleepers that I had just been given at our baby shower the weekend before. And so I was excited to do all those things after I was done working at the bank. But January 20th at 9 p.m., my water broke. And I wasn't worried about the baby because I knew it was fine. But I was in a panic because I told my husband, I'm not ready. I don't want to have a baby tonight. But guess what? Ready or not, he came. And if you want to show the picture, in the wee hours of the morning on January 21st, I had my first little son. He's now a grown man, Andrew James. He has a lovely wife and 3 daughters. He's the oldest of 3. I have 3 children. I have 2 sons and a daughter. She's in the middle. I didn't have a picture of them, but they are all happily married, and we have 7 grandchildren, age 6 and under. So when our family is together, it's crazy town. But we love them. We love it. So anyway, as I think back on that moment where I was in a panic, I said, I'm not ready. In light of what I do today, it makes me think about the young woman who finds out she's pregnant and she really isn't ready to be a parent. Maybe she's still in high school. Maybe she doesn't have a job or even a place to live. Maybe she had other plans with her life at the moment, and it didn't include a baby. And that's why we exist. We exist for that young woman. We want to have the opportunity to bring her into our office, to talk with her, to slow her down in her decision-making, to replace her chaos with confidence, and to replace her panic with power. We want her to be able to hear truth, hear her options, and we want her to be able to see the reality of the life that's growing inside of her womb. So the first thing I want to do is show you a video, and this is the video of Chandel and Jean. And I wanted to start with this because it's just an amazing, only God could do this. It's an amazing intersection of 3 different stories that all came together through Life's Choices. And it gives you a little bit of an idea all of the different pieces of Life's Choices that come together.
My name is Joy Stutzman. I'm 21 years old.
My name is Joy Stutzman. I'm 23.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was pretty upset. I did not want to go through with it. I called Jean, like, we cannot do this. I don't know how we're gonna do this. The first time found out, we had both agreed, okay, I should go to Planned Parenthood to terminate the pregnancy. At the same time, I was having an ovarian torsion, which was pretty painful. So I was in and out of the doctor's office a lot. And my primary doctor, Dr. Schenkel, had found out that I was pregnant.
When Chandel came into the office, I was able to, for the first time, share my testimony with one of my patients. I ended up getting pregnant at a very young age. At that time, I didn't have many options available to me, so the best option for me at that time was having an abortion. I made an appointment at Planned Parenthood, and within 5 minutes, my entire life had changed. At that time, I did not feel very worthy of God's love, and I didn't feel worthy of a relationship with Him, so I ran away from Him and was kind of lost for that time. In talking to her, I was able to present her with the choices and the options that I felt like I never had when I was her age.
So she was telling me about just what Planned Parenthood does and how the pill I was going to take can really mess up my body. It'll be hard to have a healthy pregnancy after this, just how it affects me mentally down the road. And I was like, well, I don't really want that. She also told me about Life Choices.
I set her up with Life's Choices, and she was able to meet with Katie. And she was able to have different options available for her as well. I heard from Katie a couple weeks after that Chandel ended up canceling her appointment with Planned Parenthood, which she had previously scheduled to have an abortion. And her boyfriend decided to carry the pregnancy through.
They've been helping us financially, get resources, just to get on the right path, just a path that is right for us.
They've been helping us with like where to start, how to take care of the baby, how to take care of her, and preparing me for like her pregnancy and for when the baby comes.
Just like how to recognize certain sicknesses within a baby, how to like handle certain emotional situations. Some of the physical resources they provide too, like formula, diapers. We had the first ultrasound, and just seeing the little baby in there swimming around, hearing the heartbeat, that just kind of confirmed that it was the right thing to do to proceed with this pregnancy.
So 1 year ago, a coworker and friend of mine invited me to come to the Life Choices banquet. And it was there that I was able to hear the story of Phyllis. Phyllis had been carrying the burden that I had been carrying for 50 years. And it made me realize that I needed healing. And I not only needed to accept God's forgiveness, but I needed to forgive myself. I heard about Surrendering the Secret that was offered through Life's Choices, and I started the class this March. I was able to accept God's forgiveness, and also I was able to forgive myself. When I think about Chandel presenting to the office that day, and the fear that she had in sharing her pregnancy with her parents. It was something that I could really relate to, because I was fearful to share that with my parents before. Being able to help Chandel make the decision that she did, I'm thankful that she reached out to me. And for women who have had abortions, I want to let them know that there's healing available. My abortion and Phyllis's story and me going through the Surrendering the Secret class and Chandel's story now is all intertwined, and it just has God's glory written all over it. And it just shows us that God is so good in so many ways, and that even out of devastating things like abortion can come life.
So something that she said, Dr. Schenkel said at the end there, she said, it's a story that has God's glory written all over it. And it surely is. Only God could write a story like that and bring the pieces together like he did. But it brings me to a description of our services that is kind of like the pieces of a puzzle. And I wanted to just go over that with you, the 4 pieces that make up the whole ministry of Life's Choices. So the 4 things are crisis prevention, crisis intervention, empowerment, and restoration. And it's all focused on that unplanned pregnancy, that woman that finds herself in a situation where she has a difficult decision to make about her pregnancy. So the first piece of this puzzle is what we call crisis prevention. So wouldn't it be better if people just avoided, getting into that situation? So the services that we provide that fall under crisis prevention are STD testing for sexually transmitted diseases and infections, and our Thrive education. So I want to talk first about our STD testing. We do that. That is provided for us through the Department of Health. We do have an overseeing physician, Dr. Jamie Long, who oversees our medical services, provides standing orders for prescriptions and so forth. And then we have medical staff that are there to provide those services. But the Department of Health does provide for us the tests, the lab work, and the treatment, all completely free of charge. And our Kutztown office is located a block away from Kutztown University, so you can imagine we do see quite a few students in our office for STD testing at Kutztown. And we look at that, or we consider that to be part of our mission, because it's an opportunity to talk with young people about the choices they're making before they're in a pregnancy situation. And we can talk to them about the risks that they're taking, not only with their health, but the risk of a possible pregnancy. And we do also have a spiritual discussion with every person that comes into our office, if they allow us. It's always permission-based, and we will offer to pray with them if they would like us to, and almost everyone accepts prayer. But everyone will get this statement read to them, or it will be on their intake form that says, we take a holistic approach to health care, which means we address your physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. And surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, but our clients love that piece of our services. And so every time someone comes for services, we have them fill out an exit survey, and it gives them the opportunity to talk about what they liked, what they didn't like, what was different than what they expected. And I just wanted to read to you some of the quotes that people write on their surveys. And these were people that came for STD testing. One of them said, they actually care about your overall well-being and professional. Another one said, I've never been at a place that prayed for you, which is new but appreciated. Another one said, I like how quiet and safe this place feels. Someone said, I feel comfortable here because it's a Christ-based clinic. And then someone else said, every visit is soothing and welcoming, and they care about you as a person, not just a client. So those things mean so much to us. We really do want to keep Jesus the center. As you can see on the puzzle there, he is really the center of everything that we do. So then the second service under crisis prevention is our Thrive education program. So this is a program that provides healthy relationship education in local middle schools and high schools. So you can see our Thrive program has grown significantly over the past couple of years. And the reason is we actually started this probably about 8 years ago in the Hamburg School District. I believe it was Hamburg High School. And we've been in the middle school and high school in Hamburg every year since then. They are extremely welcoming of and encouraging with our program. But last year, what really caused that spike is we were invited into the Reading Middle Schools to give 5 lessons in every 7th grade class. So that was huge for us and a big undertaking, but we did that, and then they invited us back this school year to do 5 lessons in every 5th and 8th grade class. Next year, they want us to double that again and do and teach every 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade class. So by next school year, if all goes as planned, we will be teaching in every grade in every Reading school district, middle school. So this is a huge thing. It's challenging. These classrooms, sometimes they're a little chaotic, and it's challenging, but it is so rewarding to, that one time when you can really connect with a student, or just, having a presence there. And so we look at this as just a wonderful opportunity, but it does require, we also have some more schools that are actually wanting us to come in. As you can see there, this year we did Brandywine and Wilson West. Wilson High School is wanting services, but it's not on the calendar yet, and same with Topahakan. We're also doing motherhood lessons about healthy relationships at Hannah's Hope in Reading. So there's a lot of opportunities, and we're actually at the place where we're having to turn schools down because we don't have enough educators to go into the schools. So you can help by helping us get the word out that we are in need of educators. Bilingual would be wonderful. We are potentially looking to hire someone full-time for next school year, but we also could use part-time 1 to 3 days per week positions as well. It can be, some of the educators that we have are very part-time, kind of as needed. So if you know someone who has experience in teaching, who is a teacher, or maybe a youth leader, or someone who has experience getting up in front of young people, please help us pass the word around that we are looking for help there. So we do also give a exit survey in every classroom to all the students that we present to, and they have the opportunity to write down what they appreciated, what they learned, and those quotes were compiled onto a video, so I'd like to show that to you at this time. so the second piece of the puzzle is what we call crisis intervention, and that is where we are trying to reach those women specifically who are headed for abortion and get them to come into the office so that we have an opportunity to like I said before, slow them down, give them some information that may help them to at least know what they're getting into with the decision that's ahead of them. So that's where we would do the pregnancy test and ultrasound appointment. So this is where we really focus our marketing towards that woman who's headed for abortion. In the past year and a half, we started paying for Google ads, which are designed to what someone is Googling on their phone, abortion pill, abortion information, something like that. It will give them our number, and we'll get the call or the text or the email. And of course, we let them know that we don't provide abortions at our center, but we try to emphasize to them how important it is to have that ultrasound before they would go ahead and take the abortion pill or go through with an abortion, because there's so much that they don't know from a pregnancy test alone. And sadly, it is possible in some cases with the new laws that they can get the abortion pill just through a pharmacy without having a doctor's visit. And so that is extremely dangerous to their health, and so we're trying to make sure that they have the information that will protect their health before going ahead with an abortion. And of course, we're hoping that when they have that information, it may cause them to rethink their decision. So the things they don't know from the pregnancy test, they don't know, is the pregnancy live? Is it viable? Does the baby have a heartbeat? Is the pregnancy in the uterus, or could it be ectopic? Because if they would take the pill, the abortion pill, that would not remove a pregnancy from anywhere but the uterus, and so they wouldn't know that, and that could be a life-threatening situation. Do they have an STD? Because if they would, and they would go through with a surgical abortion, that infection could travel through their reproductive organs and cause complications. So their health could be compromised if they go ahead without the ultrasound and STD screening. And so we do see quite a fair number of women from these ads coming into the office for the no-cost screening for the ultrasound and pregnancy test. So we do have, some cases, and we're always trying to improve this, but some cases where they are changing their minds, but sometimes they don't, and that is very difficult. But they have that option. At least they have the truth. So of what's the choice that they're making. So we're always trying to stay culturally relevant. So this past year we did a soft rebranding. We have a new logo and even a name change, LC Medical. The LC still stands for Life's Choices, so you'll hear me referring to us as Life's Choices, but we wanted something that would speak to the generation that we're trying to reach in a way that makes them feel safe, comfortable, professional, and just give us kind of a fun new look. So that was one of the things we did this past year, but it's still the same organization. Nothing has changed in that way. We do have our medical services and our support services, which you'll hear more about later, but we are now known as LC Medical and Support Services. So just to give you a little quick update, our medical services are mostly centered at Kutztown right now, and this summer we did purchase the other half of our Kutztown building. So we were in half a twin, and it's very tight. When the other half of the building came up for sale, we jumped on the chance because just so that we can have the control over the building. If you want to show the picture, it's pretty ugly actually, because the two sides are different. But to be honest, I never knew just how ugly it was until I took this picture, because we park in the back and go in on the side, so I never really looked at it from this direction. But we are very eager to dress that up a little bit and unify the front and make a transformation, at least on the outside. And then we also are dreaming and thinking about how we can best use the inside, which will double our space and give us more opportunities there. So currently it's rented to a tenant, and so it is bringing in some income for the time being. But that's an exciting new thing and something that we will need help with, because there will be projects. We're certainly going to need funding for that. So that's on the on the agenda for 2024. So moving on to the third piece of the puzzle is what we call empowerment, and that is our parenting education and case management. So that is what we are now calling LC support, and it is mostly done at our Hamburg office. But we have something, this is what we provide for those women who do choose to parent their babies, and it's also a wonderful opportunity because we get to see them over and over again and develop more of a relationship with them. So I think it's so important because, you know, we want to save babies, and if we save a baby, we've saved a life, but if we lose someone's soul, we haven't gained, have we? It's still a tragic situation. And so these are the opportunities to develop those deeper relationships by providing the regular classes that they can participate in. And we have something that is just a wonderful program. It's called our Baby Bundle. And that is where they can come for their pregnancy test and ultrasound free of charge, of course. They get 60 days of prenatal vitamins, and every woman who comes for an ultrasound will send her home with prenatal vitamins, whether she's keeping the baby or not. It's not going to hurt them to take them, right, doctor? But anyway, but that way they have something that kind of connects them, like they think they're doing something healthy for their baby. They get the vitamins. Then we offer them 15 classes that include childbirth and breastfeeding classes. And each time they take a class, they can earn points to use in their baby bundle, or in our baby boutique, which is they can get diapers, wipes, baby clothes, and so forth. But the really good thing is if they complete all those 15 classes, then they get a brand new car seat and a newborn photo shoot with a professional photographer. So it's really a wonderful program, and something that we feel very proud to be able to offer our clients. But then we also have parenting classes for anyone, really, at any stage of pregnancy or any stage of parenting. So our classes are video-based. It's a video curriculum, so we can do it remotely as well. We can send them a video to watch at home or in the office, and then if they want to do it remotely, they can Zoom in to discuss it, or they can come into the office to discuss it. And we have literally hundreds of topics and series that take them from pregnancy through parenting teens, and we even have Bible studies and life skills classes and things like that. So there's a ton of things they can do. Our parenting program is really growing, and that, like I said earlier, is happening mostly at our Hamburg location. So because of the growth that's happening there, we had to kind of prioritize that over the Kutztown project because we realized we needed more office space in there. It had been one big room. We're right across from Hecky's, so if you know where Hecky's is, we're on State Street, right? It used to be a bridal shop, I think, but it's kind of one big room, and we were trying to protect the privacy of our clients as they came in, but we decided we have to build office space so that we can do more than one class at a time, and so that project is happening right now. If you go pick up a sandwich at Hecky's, you can peek in the window and see what's happening. But we will need help there as well, because we're looking for some skilled carpenters who could help with spackling, painting, and laying flooring, like the vinyl plank flooring. And so if you know of anyone, or you would like to volunteer in some way, we could use you either there or for the Kutztown project. So piece number 4 is what we call restoration, and that is our abortion healing segment of services. So we do hold a Bible study about once a year that is an abortion healing Bible study, because we want our clients to know that even if they do have an abortion, if they choose to terminate the pregnancy, or if they have an abortion in their past, we want them to know that we're still there for them. We understand that when they're in that place, it's because every option was a hard one. And I think that, this is something that we provide, for them that is truly giving them freedom and forgiveness from what they've experienced in the past. And I do have a video, but it looks like we may be having some technical problems. Oh, okay. All right. So, yes, so the video of Phyllis, and this is the one that Dr. Schenkel mentioned that she saw at the banquet and what influenced her to go through the abortion healing class. All right.
Hi, Joy. My name is Phyllis Bensinger. I had my abortion 50 years ago, and I already had my 2 little boys and did not want a third one. The situation was a little rocky, and I did not want to have more.
So 50 years is a long time to carry something.
It's a long time to carry guilt. You've killed your child, and that guilt doesn't go away. I would push it down and forget about it for a while, and then it would pop up again, and I'd push it down again, and finally I just decided I've got to talk to somebody about this. And that's when I talked to my pastor and got in contact with Life's Choices. There were 3 other girls in the class with me who also had abortions. I just felt put at ease, realizing that I'm not in this alone. I just can't express how much relief I felt to finally have it out in the open. I just was able, after that, to tell my 3 children about my abortion. Since then, I've been able to tell a few other folks, and I'd like that to continue. Life's Choices is offering another course to teach how to talk to young girls about this.
Yeah, and that way you can use your experience to bring hope to somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is no good thing that comes out of an abortion, and you won't feel good about it either. Even when you're an old lady like me, you'll still feel bad about it. I realized that although my family was at that time about 17 or 18 strong, I was missing a whole branch that I foolishly got rid of. There would have been another child, another spouse, more grandchildren, and I realized that I just got rid of them all.
So as painful as that thought is about missing that piece of your family tree, still you found comfort in going through the process of, going through the healing process. What is something that brought you comfort after going through that?
I realized that as a born-again Christian, I'll be going to heaven, and I realized that my baby is already there, which is something that this course talks about.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful thought.
It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, there's nothing that goes beyond God's ability to redeem.
Mm-hmm.
And He sees the picture that goes to eternity.
Right.
So, beautiful story of redemption. So, I wanted to tell you how you can help, how you maybe find your role in this battle for life. There are some ways that you could be involved at Life's Choices. One would be to volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers to help with like clerical things or receptionist or meeting with clients if that's something that you feel called to, and there's training for that. We also use volunteers to go into the classroom with our Thrive program. We could use people to clean, people to shovel snow, people to clean up walnuts. We have 2 big walnut trees at Kutztown that are a real pain in the fall. But there's a multitude of things. If you want to help, we can find a way to use you, I'm sure. But that is one thing. We also, another way would be to attend our events. We have a Spring Chicken 5K, which is coming up on Saturday, April 27th. This will be like maybe our 13th year of doing that. It is at the Hamburg Park, so it's local. You don't have to be a runner. You can walk it. Last year, I think we had close to 400 people there, so it is a really fun, popular event, and it was even drizzling last year. But that means we got that out of the way for another 10 years, so the weather should be perfect this year. But also, I wanted to tell you about our fundraising banquet. Save the date for Thursday, September 19th. I'm so excited about the speaker that we have scheduled for this year, Dr. William Lyle, also known as the pro-life doctor. I heard him speak at a conference last summer, and he is amazing. He is so full of stories. He's a surgeon. I believe he does surgery on babies inside the womb. And so, of course, you have to take them out, but put them back in. But it's just, I won't even try to tell you, but it is amazing. And we also have I believe, a new venue this year. The last couple of years, we've been at the Stone Springs Farm here in Hamburg, and our guests have loved it. It's absolutely gorgeous, but sadly we are growing out of it, and so we needed a larger space. But I think that you are going to love this new space. It's brand new, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's a surprise, but mark your calendar. But there is another way. Those are two fundraisers that we do. There is a third fundraiser that we do every year, and that is our baby bottle fundraiser. And you might have seen the bottles as you came in the door or went out the door, but in the lobby. So pick up a bottle, take it with you, fill it with coins, checks, or cash. Pray for Life's Choices each time you see the bottle, put money in the bottle. This is something that we often kick off in January, in churches. Some churches like to do it over Mother's Day and Father's Day, but a lot of them do it in January. And really, truly, your generosity in this fundraiser really allows us to hit the ground running in the beginning of the year, because we're starting over with a new budget, new annual expenses, and it really is helpful. So if you could help us out in that way, that would be awesome. So every year when we do the baby bottle fundraiser, and Sanctity of Human Life Sunday is a day tomorrow, January 21st, that's set aside to really celebrate the beauty of life, the value of life. And every year for this, we choose a theme. And so this year we chose the theme of a kind of taking off from a gender reveal. Now, 37 years ago when I was pregnant with my son, there was no gender reveal until the baby came out. And that's when you found out whether they were a boy or a girl. I had an old school doctor, and I didn't even have an ultrasound with my first pregnancy. But I don't even remember that was an option. Maybe the machines weren't as good at seeing? I don't know. But anyway, I knew you had to get a blood test if you wanted to know the gender back then. But nowadays, everybody's having the gender reveal. But we kind of took off on that wording by saying that a gender reveal is where you get a sneak peek into, something that's hidden. And we want our clients to have a tender reveal, which is revealing the tender heart of Jesus for them and for their baby. And so I wanted to just close here by reading a scripture and just taking a little closer look at the heart of Jesus as it relates to caring for unborn babies and the moms that are carrying them. At Life's Choices, we constantly do a balancing act between advocating for the life of a baby and being a safe place for the woman, for the mother who's considering abortion. And thankfully, we have Jesus as our model, because it is not an easy place to be. We know that abortion is tragic, and we don't want the mother to experience that, but we also see her situation, and sometimes you wouldn't believe the difficult situations that some women face. But Jesus had the perfect balance of passion for justice, passion for holiness, and compassion for the sinner. And so that is what we try to do at Life's Choices. And I wanted to just share with you Matthew 12, verses 18 to 21. This is actually, the verses in Matthew are actually repeated from Isaiah. The prophet Isaiah had first said these words, but in Matthew, the prophecy was fulfilled when Jesus was walking the earth. And it says this, "Look at my servant, whom I have chosen. He is my beloved, who pleases me." And we know that's Jesus. "I will put my spirit upon him, and he will proclaim justice to the nations. He will not fight or shout or raise his voice in public. He will not crush the weakest reed or put out a flickering candle. Finally, he will cause justice to be victorious, and his name will be the hope of all the world." So Jesus came to bring justice to the vulnerable, not through activism, but through compassion. And I want to just say, there's a place to be, active. There's a place for activism, but that's not our place as Life's Choices, because we found our role, and our role is to be a place of compassion. We can't change the laws at Life's Choices. I can only do that by voting, and that is my personal responsibility. But at Life's Choices, we're there to be a place of compassion. The interesting thing is, our center has been in existence for 37 years at Kutztown. We're at Hamburg about 12, but when we celebrated our 35th anniversary, which was 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with two of our original members of the steering committee that started. At that time, it was called the Crisis Pregnancy Center of Kutztown. And I interviewed both of them individually, so neither one knew what the other one was saying. Oh.
It's no secret that James is the most...
Oops, there we go. But anyway, they both mentioned that from the very beginning, they were very intentional that we were to be a place of compassion for women. We were not to use guilt or manipulation or scare tactics or pressure to convince a woman to do what we think is right. Because, the thing is, if she comes into our office and we convince her to change her mind and keep the baby, she could leave our office and someone else could convince her to terminate the baby. She needs to have the information so she can make her own decision. But anyway, looking at the example of Jesus, he did come to bring justice, and it was through compassion. So we know that the best way to protect the baby is to care for the mama, because she's the one that's she has control over that baby's life. These verses talk about two illustrations, the weakest reed and the flickering candle. This is, I think, the New Living Translation, but it's similar in other translations. But in my mind, it describes the mama and the baby, the weakest reed being the mama, and the flickering candle being the baby. Because when a woman comes to us, she is in a fragile state. And we aren't going to crush her spirit through judgment or condemnation. We're going to give her truth, and we're going to give her love, and we're going to make sure that she knows that there are options. But the next part, the flickering candle, reminds me of the baby, because I've had the opportunity many times to be in the room while someone is getting an ultrasound. And when they come to us for confirmation of pregnancy, they're often about 6 weeks pregnant. That's about the time when they've found out, they're trying to figure out what to do, and then they come to us. At 6 weeks gestation, the baby on ultrasound really just looks like the tiniest little flicker of light. And so it's kind of like that flame of a candle. And the interesting thing is that that flicker of life is very often a flicker of hope for the woman when she sees it. And the tiniest bit of hope can change someone's life. Maybe they start to think, maybe I could do what I think I can't do. Maybe the impossible is possible. Maybe there's a way to be a parent and reach my goals. Maybe there's still hope for a happy future. And that's really how these verses end. His name will be the hope of all the world. It's Jesus that can change someone's heart. Hope is a powerful thing. So many women tell us later that even though they considered abortion, their baby turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to them. And so I want to close now, and then we'll take time for questions. But I wanted to close with this video of Jordan. And she tells her own story, but she does it so well. She starts out by saying, "It's no surprise that James is the most unexpected gift we could ever receive." And so watch the video.
Beanie. Hi. You're so funny.
It's no secret that James is the most unexpected gift we could have ever received. I would be lying if I said that we had the same mindset around becoming pregnant when we first found out. James, close your ears. In fact, when I first found out I was going to be a mama, I bawled my eyes out. In that moment, I so badly wanted to have that plus sign turn into a negative. I was scared, transitioning, growing up really fast, and honestly in shock. Because that's the part that no one can explain. That pre-baby, post-baby transition. You have to experience it for yourself to truly understand the change in perspective, the newfound love you receive when they first place your baby on your chest.
Can I see your big toothy grin?
It wasn't easy making the decision to become parents, and we certainly could not have done it without Life's Choices. Joy and her amazing team welcomed us with open arms and made the whole process feel a little less scary. We had our first ultrasound at Life's Choices, and the rest was history. We were hooked. I was finishing my last semester at Kutztown, so I would take classes at Life's Choices between working and going to school. Thanks to Life's Choices, I was able to feel so much more comfortable and confident in the decision we made. And we've been eternally grateful ever since. They set a foundation for us. They were encouraging and supportive all at the same time. From there, everything just fell into place. We found our home, I graduated, Jake and I both started new jobs, and we anxiously waited for our little man to arrive. On Halloween, we met our pumpkin, and life has been so full ever since. Having a baby opened up our eyes. It feels like we are seeing a whole new world again. Everything is so fresh and fun. Our journey turned out much better than we could have ever expected. We wake up every day with so much joy and gratitude in our hearts. We love you, James Ryan Wells. You'll forever be our miracle.
Does anyone have any questions or anything that? Yes? Oh, we put a date on the poster out there.
It's going to be the 15th. For now, until we get set up properly, we'll return it to the church office, and then it will go on to Life's Choices. And that may change, but I'll notify you if you do. But right now, that's where it's going to go. If you want to go directly to them, you definitely could do that. They're both here in Hamburg and in Kutztown.
Your education program, what does that include at the school?
In the
I
school,
found that interesting.
Yeah, so we use a curriculum. So, okay, let me explain. So we are funded by a federal grant right now from HHS. So we went together for 3 years. We went together with 3 other pregnancy centers, and the 4 of us shared the grant. And then those 3 years completed, and this year starts a new 3 years of the grant. And this year we are partnering with Bright Hope Pregnancy Center in Allentown. So they had a very active school program, and so the 2 of us are sharing the grant. But so we use a curriculum called Real Essentials. Real Essentials. And so it is a biblically based curriculum, but of course we can't use the name of Jesus or scripture or anything like that. So we are teaching about boundaries, refusal skills, saying no, but it also includes, other risky behavior like drugs and alcohol, vaping, things like that. So it's not completely focused on their, on sexual activity, but it does generally talk about, avoiding risky behavior. So the program is, the curriculum is pretty interactive. It has like demos that get the kids involved, and so, yeah. Is that helpful?
Do you ever arrange any adoptions?
So we can't connect an adoptive family with one of our clients' babies. That has to be done by a third party. So we would, if someone is interested in adoption, we would give them the names of several adoption agencies that we've kind of vetted and feel comfortable with. However, in my 12 years of being involved, there was only one time that someone chose adoption. So it's sad because when you bring that up, they say, "Oh, I could never do that," but they could choose abortion, you know. But it's rare that someone, by the time they carry the baby, they're usually finding a way to make it work to parent. Anyone else? Mm-hmm.
Housing afterwards, because sometimes there's housing afterwards. Sometimes parents are not real supportive of it. It's just another chaotic point in the house.
Yeah, housing is a big issue. And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of options. There are some places that take in a pregnant woman. There are some places that are, for like a shelter or a place for a mother with children, but housing is a big deal. In fact, one of the things we're considering, and we're considering a lot of things for the Kutztown part that we purchased, but one of the options would be to make it into an apartment that could be used for emergency housing for someone. So I don't know. Don't quote me on that because anything could happen yet. When you trying to get a board of 6 to do anything fast is like doing something with 6 heads and many, many arms and legs.
So I noticed you've got that one doctor. Do you have other doctors that you have connections with that refer people to you?
Doctors that refer to us, we don't get a whole lot of referrals. A lot of our clients come from word of mouth, from seeing our sign, we get referred to from the health center on campus. We get referrals from maybe community agencies. One of the goals for this year is what I'd like to do is have an open house for local medical professionals so they can kind of see what we do, and hopefully more of that will happen. But we have to have a medical director who oversees our services, and so that's what Dr. Long provides for us.
Speaking of referrals, if someone wanted to refer to you, do you have like a card or?
I do have cards with me, yes, in my purse. And we also have on the table out with the baby bottles, there are flyers and brochures you could take with you. At least it has our contact information on there. So, yeah. You can Google LC Medical. I keep forgetting. Or Life's Choices. It'll probably take you to the same place.
2 questions. One about the young women. Do you have ways of helping them continue pursuing education? And number 2, what do you find about the father's involvement with these things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are 2 good questions. Continuing their education, we can give them support. We try to focus on what we're experts at, and that is dealing with that crisis pregnancy. We are not experts on all the different resources, but we can connect them with agencies that are. However, I will tell you that I just saw a message this morning from a client who was considering abortion at like 20-some weeks pregnant, so And we were able to give her some help. We ended up giving her a baby shower and providing support for her. She went back to school and is doing amazingly well. And I just saw a message asking if we would write a recommendation for a scholarship for her. So it's so fun to be able to, to see them pursuing an education and really becoming successful. But yes, we often refer to other agencies and things to help with that. And your other question was, yes. So having the support of the baby's dad, is so vital. If they are supportive, the woman is much more likely to carry the baby to term or to parent. However, we have had some that the dad wanted the baby and the mom didn't, and it's just she has the ultimate decision to make. We find a lot of men are kind of taught to say, whatever you decide, I'll support you. And we try to encourage them that that's not helpful. So, of course, if they're encouraging them to abort, we aren't too supportive of that, or encouraging them in that. But if what we try to tell the dads is that if if she has your support, it will be huge, in making the decision to parent. So we do often have the dads take the classes and be there with the mom, but sometimes, a lot of times the relationships don't last, but for the present time, they're often involved. All right. Thank you, Julie. Sure. Thank you. Oh, one more.
When you're in the school districts, depending on the grades, are you going in there with your agenda of what you're allowed to talk about, or does the school decide that?
So we have, we present the school with options of the classes that we provide, and then they choose which ones they want. So there was, I believe that Reading asked us to do a class on vaping, which we didn't have, and so we did try to come up with something for that. So we'll work with them, but for the most part, it is our curriculum, our options, and then they choose. Right.
Anyone else? And I know during the break, so that if there's any more constitutional questions, you can ask them now, or you can corner them, or call them, or send them an email, and they'll try to answer those questions for you. But they are important. I mean, all of this today and everything that I've experienced recently when I'm out and away in public, the factors come down to sometimes lack of real knowledge of what's going on and hope for the people who are the victims of what is going on. And that's why I was so excited about having Life Choices here today. It is not about our government. We are the government. So we determine what's acceptable and what's not. And as Christians, most of us base it on our faith. And everything that I have seen, even here in Pennsylvania, is not good. If I've heard people say, I've turned off my TV, I'm not watching news, I'm not listening to this, I will challenge all of you, get off the TV. You're not going to like this, but get in the internet, and you have something pressing on your mind. You put that thought into the internet, and you'll be surprised sometimes with the response you get. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of institutions that are voluntary. They are Christian-based. They know right from wrong. They know that we're in a wrong state right now and are looking for people to support them. In my mind, There's no more greater value than saving an unborn child's life. That's in my heart. So I appreciate you attending. I appreciate Life and Kermit and Joy and your participation. If you like this, spread the word. As I said, you're going to be hearing a lot over this year, over community awareness and conscience. But I can do a much better job if you help me do that job. I'll miss news articles. We might miss something that's happening in a school district or at work or wherever in town. And you are there. And when you hear it, we will set up a way to do a confidential, no names, no tags, just the capability of vetting what we want to discuss. And if I find other organizations, and you can help me do that, there may be somebody already you know that as a church and Christians we should be supporting. And if you do, let me know. We'll contact them. We had a very nice visit, 2 months ago for an hour, and came home even more excited. And the funny part about it is I came back to the church, and I'm pumping this and all of a sudden, we know them. Bob Hayes from our community store. Oh man, he's your champion. And the reality of it is, it proves two things. It's a good organization, and it's good people. And that's what we're looking for. So with that, I would just end with this as a prayer. That Christ has never promised us to remove a storm, but he's promised to walk with us through every storm. And he still is. Joy relies on him. We rely on him. And there's no better place to go to rely on anyone but to Christ. Amen. Thank you all.